Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy lives to be here today. And thank you to Lee Marshall and Kids to Love for not only being amazing, just generally, but having me and giving me this honor. I'm truly humbled, particularly after hearing so many of your experiences and what big things my colleagues are doing. I'm so very humbled to be here. When Lee first asked me to speak, I spent a lot of time reflecting on what I wanted to say. Around the same time, coincidentally, I wrote an op-ed for the Imprint magazine on inspiration. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to say here, I couldn't think of a better way to convey the message that I had for both donors and colleagues alike. So today I am sharing a somewhat modified version of that writing, and if any of you have already happened to come across my article, I do apologize for any repetition you might notice. I have Post-it notes all around my apartment that remind me in bold lettering, things that matter are hard. Some of you may recognize that quote from my all-time favorite movie, Instant Family. I find endless inspiration in these simple words because my life experiences have proven their truth. Transitioning from a chronic child abuse victim to an empowered survivor mattered, and it was hard. For the record, so was waking up at 2:30 a.m. to get ready for a 5 a.m. flight. I mean, if anyone knows who's in charge of flight schedules, I really just want to talk to them, that's all. But back on a serious note, the same can be said of enduring a decade of all of the worst parts of foster care, including educational interruptions, housing instability, and multiple kinds of abuse from certain placements. Although these events were all painful and difficult, they inspire me. I know things could be better. I know I can be the one to shed light on some of the cracks in the system that children and youth fall through. Inspiration for me is simply the knowledge that there are children in our country who do not believe they are worthy of love. As if that were not heartbreaking enough, the circumstances of their lives often confirm those beliefs. A biological mother who chooses an abuser over her children. Foster parents, beloved by the children, but who have ultimately decided that fostering is no longer a good fit for their family. Or a teenage girl having an open conversation with her social worker about difficulties finding a new placement because no one wants teens. All of this is happening while a child's self-worth is in its formative stages. How can they ever feel worthy when everyone rejects them for one reason or another? Choosing to love these children, advocate for them, provide them a stable and safe home and a quality education are some of the most difficult tasks facing society. But these actions matter more than words can convey, not only in the eyes of a specific child, but from the point of view of every person whose life will one day be touched by that child. I cannot personally think of anything more inspiring than that. It has fueled my passion in my personal and professional life. The tears I've shed over the years are my motivation. When I aged out, it was terrifying. I was on my own, and I had to make everything work with virtually no family and only myself to depend upon. I had no safety net, and failure was not an option. That paralyzing anxiety only made me work harder because I knew my situation is not unique, and many others are suffering. Despite plenty of self-doubt, imposter syndrome, generalized feelings of inadequacy, I decided to pursue one of my lifelong dreams to become a lawyer on the front lines of child welfare law and policy. The word hard could not begin to describe the journey it took to become one of the roughly 2% of former foster youth to graduate college. I graduated magna cum laude with my bachelor's degree in 2018 after 4 years of balancing full course loads, working close to full-time hours, and many conflicts in my personal life. On the days I felt like I couldn't go on, I reflected on my time in the system. I remember times when I was hungry, scared, or hopeless. And it reminded me that someone out there is walking that same worn out path I once tread in the same hand-me-down shoes. I also took seriously the fact that I was in a position to do something about it. My late grandfather always told me that being a brain, as he put it, is not just a gift. It's a responsibility to others. I knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I knew firsthand just how much it mattered. I am still a work in progress. Even though my life is better than it has ever been, I am still learning to cope with the pain of my present reality. I once believed that when I was an adult, not having parents wouldn't matter to me, similar to how children often believe that when they turn 18, or in Alabama 19, they will magically know everything and be competent to be completely in charge of their own lives. It's okay, you can laugh at me. Clearly, my assumptions were wrong. I'm going on 25 years old now, and sometimes I still feel like the child who was never adopted, who was never even given that option. Relying on romantic partners for the sense of family I'm missing is uncomfortable at best and toxic at worst. My point is that the journey to both healing and success is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And when you're on this journey, you may look around and notice that even when you are running the same race as everyone else, the load you are carrying is far heavier. You may need to rest more. You may need to ask for help more. And that is perfectly okay. With my whole heart, I encourage you to do so. At this stage in my life, the collateral physical and emotional consequences of aging out of foster care with limited support are exceedingly apparent to me, and they inspire me to do my part to help create a better system. That is my spark. Fellow scholars, I encourage you to find yours if you haven't already, and pursue it unapologetically. I have been told on occasion that my story itself is inspiring. While I would like to think that it could provide a glimmer of hope to those who may need it, I believe this term success story is premature. There is so much more work to be done. I am a rising third-year law student, and some days the gravity of the path I've chosen leaves me shaken. Law school, especially in a pandemic, is one of the most difficult challenges I've ever faced. Whatever my social media accounts might suggest, my life is far from perfect. One night I felt so stressed and overwhelmed by everything that I found myself frozen in a mirror, helpless to do anything but watch the tears make their way down my face. I was living alone, and because of COVID and my family situation, I felt entirely isolated. But I made myself remember, through that cloud of uncertainty and hurt, that I was living in a season that I used to only dream of. And it's true, I am. No one ever promised me that chasing down my dreams would be easy. That was the night I systematically covered my apartment in the reminder notes. Things that matter are hard. Everything I'm doing feels next to impossible sometimes. If it didn't feel that way, I would wonder how much it really mattered. Most days, I still doubt the power of my own voice and my capacity to take on the deeply complex set of issues faced by the child welfare system. However, even if I'm not a success story and I never accomplish all of the goals I have set for myself, I will always be inspired by the little girl I once was. She walked through hell to give me the amazing life I have now, full of love, friendship, and opportunities. I will always be inspired by those who open their heart to disenfranchised children for all of the right reasons, and those who speak out on their behalf, even when it's uncomfortable and difficult. Most of all, I will always be inspired by those of you who look at me with eyes that can't quite hide a lifetime of hardship and say, I can do anything. And I wrote that before I'd heard your stories today, but now I mean it even more so from the bottom of my heart. What you all are doing is amazing, and don't let anyone tell you differently. To my colleagues, congratulations on making it this far. Whether you've just graduated high school, gotten a GED, or are in the middle of your college or trade school career, you are well on your way to defying the statistics about foster youth. Please, everyone, if you could, let's take a moment to give these accomplished young people a round of applause for their hard work and perseverance. With that being said, I won't sugarcoat anything. I can't promise you that the days ahead will be easy or anything short of very difficult. But if you were choosers of the easy path, you probably wouldn't be sitting here. Take a good look around this room. Every person you see here is invested in you and your success because you matter. What you want from life matters. And yes, it's hard and often an uphill fight. Trust me, I know. But when it feels impossible, just think of how much you've already overcome. You are strong, you are resilient, you are capable. You have the tools to beat every odds stacked against you. Whatever comes your way, you can handle it. And for the things you can't handle alone, that's what amazing organizations like Kids to Love are here for. Every single one of you has a story. Never underestimate its power. Everyone here believes in you. I believe in you. So get on out there and make it happen. We will all be here cheering you on as you take these vital next steps into the world. And try to remember always, but especially in moments of weakness, things that matter are hard. Thank you.